Hello everyone, my name is Teacher Ronald Nyakana and this is week 10. This is our week for revision. Remember you're about to do your midterm exams very soon. So this is a week I want us to revise the previous two topics that we've looked at, that is soil and rocks. For today we are going to revise about soil. Now I'm going to give you a few questions. We're going to be using questions and answer in order for you to be able to understand what we looked at under soil. Now first and foremost, what is soil? What is soil? Now soil is the top covering of the earth's crust, whereby we need it to grow crops. One more time, soil is the top covering of the earth's crust, and we need it to grow crops. Then number two, what is soil made up of? What is soil made up of? Now soil is made up of a mixture of minerals, air, water, organic matter and other living organisms. So this is what soil is made up of, a mixture of minerals, air, water, organic matter and other living organisms. Now let us look at this illustration which shows us what soil is made up of in details. Now as you can see, soil is made up of 25% of air, 25% of water, 45% of mineral materials and 5% of organic matter. Now under organic matter we have humus which constitutes 80%. Then we have the roots and the organisms. So this is what generally soil is made up of. Then number 3, let's proceed and look at the main particles in soil. So what are the 3 main particles in soil? So we have 3 main particles. The first one is sand, and the second one is silt, the third one is clay. Now those are the 3 main particles in soil. Now let's proceed and look at the characteristics of these 3 particles. Now the first one is sand. This is how sand looks like in the picture, and the second one is silt. So silt, this is how it looks like. The third one is clay. This is how clay looks like. Now let's start with the characteristics of sand. Characteristic number 1 is that sand is large in size. As you can see, its particles are large in size. Then number 2, sand has a large space between its particles. So if we look at the spaces between the particles, we can see that they are large. Number 3, sand is gritty, rough and coarse. That is characteristic number 3. Number 4, sand is non-sticky, whereby it doesn't stick. Then number 5 is that sand has a good drainage ability. That is why you find it on oceans, you find it on beaches, simply because it has a good drainage ability. Then number 6 is that it has poor water handling capacity, whereby it cannot handle water, it cannot hold water. Then let's proceed and look at the characteristics of silt. Number 1, silt has a medium size. If we look at it, its size is medium. Then number 2 is that silt is medium in space. Number 3, silt is smooth and slippery or floury. So it's like the flour that we use to bake cakes and bread. Then characteristic number 4 is that silt is non-sticky. Non-sticky means it doesn't stick like we are going to see clay sticks. Then number 5 is that it has a medium drainage ability. So it allows drainage but not the same way as sand does. Then number 6 is that it has a medium water holding capacity. It tries to hold water. Now let's proceed and look at the characteristics of clay. Number 1, Clay is very fine in size. If we look at the size of clay, it is very fine. Number 2, it has a small space between the particles. So if you look at the particles of clay, in fact they have no space. They are compact together. That is why we are saying that it has a small space between the particles. Then number 3 is that clay becomes sticky when it is wet. When you pour water in clay, it becomes sticky. Number 4 is that it becomes hard when it is dry. When you pour water in it, when it's wet, it's sticky. But when it becomes dry, it becomes hard again. Number 5 is that clay swells and shrinks. So it swells, and when it dries, it shrinks. Number 6, clay absorbs water. Clay absorbs water. That is characteristic number 6. Number 7, clay has a poor drainage. The drainage system of clay is very poor, whereby it doesn't easily allow water to penetrate through it. Then number 6 is that it has a good water holding capacity. It can hold water. Those are the different characteristics of these 3 soil particles, which include sand, silt, and clay. Now let's proceed and look at humus. Now the question is, what is humus? What is humus? Humus is the dark organic material that forms in soil when plant and animal matter decays. One more time. Humus is dark organic material that forms in soil when plant and animal matters decay. So as we are going to see, humus comes from dead plants or animals. So when these plants or animals die and they decay, the organic material that comes out of it is what we call humus. Then number 5, what is the primary ingredient of humus? What is the primary ingredient of humus? So the primary ingredient of humus is decayed organic materials. So these are decayed organic materials which have decayed from the dead plants and the dead animals. So when the plants and animals die and decay, the materials that come out of them are what we call humus. So this is the primary ingredient of humus, the decayed organic materials. Next is loam soil. Loam soil. Now what is loam soil? Loam soil is a soil which contains a mixture of sand, silt, clay, and humus. So that means that loam soil has all these 3 particles of soil plus humus. Now I want you to know that loam soil is a fertile soil. It is very fertile, whereby it provides plant roots with water, air, and minerals. So this is what we mean by loam soil. Next, let's proceed and look at the different soil horizons. Now the question is, what is a soil horizon? What is a soil horizon? Now, soil horizon refers to the different layers of the soil profile. As we are going to see, we have different layers that make up the soil. So these are what we call horizons. Now, I want us to name the different soil horizons. Now, according to our book for science mentions that we have 4 different soil horizons, but if at all you read somewhere else, you're going to find that there are more than 4. Now, the 4 different types of horizons include, number 1, horizon O. Number 2 is horizon A. And number 3 is horizon B. Number 4 is horizon C. So those are the 4 different soil horizons: O, A, B, and C. Now let's try to elaborate more on each of these horizons by looking at this illustration. Now, if you can look at this illustration, this is a soil profile. As you can see, we have the O horizon. This one that we are seeing is the O horizon. Next to the O horizon is the A horizon. So this is the A horizon. Then next to the A horizon is the B horizon. And under the B horizon is the C horizon. Now let's start with the O horizon. Now the O horizon is basically humus. And we said humus is the one that comes from decayed organic materials. That is organic materials from dead plants or dead animals. So the humus that forms on the ground surface forms on the O horizon. Now the next horizon is the A horizon. So the A horizon can also be called the topsoil. Now usually this is rich in organic matter and it is typically dark in color. Now this soil is usually very fertile. It is very fertile. So the A horizon has the most fertile soil which can be used for planting crops. Now the A horizon can also be called the zone of leaching. It is also called the zone of leaching. Then next is the B horizon. The B horizon can also be referred to as the subprofile. The A horizon, we are calling it the topsoil. So this one, we can also call it the subsoil. Now, the subsoil can also be called the zone of accumulation. Remember, for the A horizon, we said it can also be called the zone of leaching. So this one, the B horizon, can also be called the zone of accumulation. Now, this may contain soluble materials such as calcite, which is rich in arid climates, which can be found in arid climates. Now lastly is the C horizon. Now the C horizon basically forms from weathered bedrock or the rotten rock. Now I want you to know that the bedrock lies below the soil profile. So it is the one that lies below all these other profiles. So those are the 4 different soil horizons that we have. Now next, which soil profile has the most fertile soil? Which soil profile has the most fertile soil? So the answer is horizon A. So the A horizon or the topsoil has the most fertile soil and it is very good for planting crops. Then lastly, what is the common use of soil? What is the common use of soil? Now the common use of soil is gardening and farming. So I want you to take note of those 10 questions about soil. Remember, you're going to do your midterm very soon. So these are the questions that I'll be setting from. So when you're revising, try to revise those 10 questions. Also remember to do the 3 exercises that I gave you. The first one was about sedimentary rock formation. If you know that you haven't done it, please do it. The second one was about igneous rock formation. If you haven't done it, please do it because I need to compile your marks and submit them before you do your midterm. Then the third one was the science quiz number 2. I assigned the science quiz number 2 last week. So please endeavor to finish those activities. Now I'm going to give you a simple exercise. Which I want you to do in your free time. They are simple questions, the ones that we've been looking at. So I want you to answer them and then send me a copy in your Google Classroom. Alright, thank you everyone. Goodbye. Once again, Happy New Year and have a nice day.